So thank you for joining me here today. And I'm really excited because I've invited someone who has really worked well with my real estate company over the last year. And I often work with a number of different people, but this particular person really sticks out because she has been so professional, so engaging, and has been really, really helpful in answering a lot of questions that clients have with regard to real estate and the process of closing, so on and so forth. So please welcome Christy Clayton, who is a title agent with the Title Station. Now, the Title Station has offices in Melbourne, Titusville, and Davenport. Christy works out of Davenport here in Central Florida, just southwest of Orlando. And today we're going to talk about all of the things that come up with closing and title and so on and so forth. So I'm just going to ask some questions, and Christy's going to provide us with some great education and information that we hope that you can use as you're considering your home purchase. So Christy, welcome.
Thank you so much, Leo. I look forward to this conversation.
Thank you. So what exactly does a title agent do, and why is it an important role in the whole home buying process?
Sure. So in the state of Florida, we're not considered an attorney-only state, meaning that you can either have an attorney, close your transaction, or a title company. As a title company or as a title agent, such as myself, we are a neutral third party. So once the sales contract is signed between the buyers and sellers, we then are able to take over from there and make sure that the buyers do their required items and the sellers do their required items. We're kind of a safety net for each party in regards to we handle the funds and we handle the documents, the deed to the property. So we hold all of that in escrow until all of the required items within the contract are met, and we're able to then record the deed for the new buyers and send the funds to the seller.
Got it. So sometimes consumers get a little confused with all the different titles and acronyms and roles in real estate. And sometimes they use them interchangeably, not knowing the difference amongst them. So what exactly is the difference between a title agent, an escrow agent, and a closing agent, for instance?
Actually, they're all the same.
All the same. Exactly. Yeah. So, but a lot of times it gets confusing because people say, well, I don't know, do I need a title agent? Do I need an escrow agent? And it's sometimes hard to explain to them that they're used interchangeably, but they really do mean the same.
That is correct. Yes, an escrow agent, basically they are able to hold the escrow deposit, or you also have heard the term earnest money deposit that's listed on the contract, but they do the same thing as a title agent. In the state of Florida, if you were to look up on the website, the Florida Department of Financial Services, you would see we are categorized under title agent when you look for our license number.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So share with the viewers kind of the process of closing, if you will. How does that begin and end with you?
Sure. So from start to finish, basically once they have their real estate agent, such as yourself, execute the contract, you would then, as the real estate agent, send that over to us. If you're representing the buyers, you would send that over to us, and the buyers would wire a deposit. Once we receive the contract, we immediately open the file within our computer system, and we start searching the public records. We actually have to go back 30+1 years, and that is so that we can issue clear title insurance to the new owner, to the purchaser. And that is what makes it so important that you just don't do this transaction, A, without a realtor, and B, without a title company, because that search in the public record determines who the actual owners of the property are, if there are any liens on the property, anything that you would not see as a normal person just swapping deed for money. So it is a great protection to use professionals such as your realtor to help you make the arrangements and agreements between the buyer and the seller. And then it's important that you use the title company for us to do the title search. Once that title search is done, if you're purchasing with cash, then we prepare the documents. We ask you to wire the funds. The sellers come in and sign their portion of documents. The buyers sign their portion. we record the deed in the public records, and we give the funds out to all of the parties involved. If there's a lender involved, it's a little more complicated in that we have another party involved and they have their own requirements. We work together as a team, Realtor, title agent, and lender, in order to come together with all the requirements that the lender requires in order for the buyer to get their loan, so that the lender can then send us the money. And again, then the remainder of the process is the same. The documents are signed, the money's dispersed, the deed, and then the mortgage in that case would be recorded. And then once that's all done, there's the final piece, which is we actually issue a title insurance policy that is good for as long as the buyer owns the home. So what is title insurance? People say, why do I need title insurance? Well, title insurance ensures that once you pay the money for the home, that you are the true owner of the home. There are no outstanding liens that you're unaware of. So you move into the home, that home cannot be taken back from you. Now, if for some reason there are situations where maybe there was a forged deed, again, back in the chain of title that we search, we don't know at the time that it's forged. Later in the future, someone knocks on your door and says, hey, I never signed that deed over to the person who sold you this house. It goes to court and the judge actually awards the house back to the person who didn't sign the deed. Title insurance covers you for that, and you get the price of the home back as an insurance policy. So that's why it's so important, because if you do not use a title insurance company, you do not get title insurance. If you were just to pay the seller the money and something so crazy as that would happen, you're not insured in any way. You're just out that money, unfortunately.
That's a really good answer. And that actually segues into a question that we have from a client that asked the question, I hear advertisements all the time from a company called Home Title Lock that claims homeowners are at risk of losing their homes without this service. Is this true? And if so, what can a buyer do to prevent this from happening to them after the purchase? Well, I think you just answered it with regard to the title insurance, but do they need another service such as Home Title Lock, or does the title insurance, when they close, take care of that?
So actually, I researched Title Lock about a year ago. I don't remember all of the details. Could you give me a little bit of the details of what Title Lock is selling?
Well, to my understanding, and I haven't really looked into them as well, but to my understanding, they sell a service where it's basically like identity theft, and they monitor your title so that somebody doesn't sell your house from underneath you, so to speak, without your knowledge. And then someday, now they claim in their advertisements, which I've heard them, and don't quote me on this because I don't want to be sued for incorrectly promoting their product. But the fact is they claim along the lines of someone who shows up at your door and says, oh, by the way, I actually own this property, or this property has been sold to me by someone else, maybe fraudulently, and end up in a situation to where they end up losing their home and not being able to recover from it. I don't know exactly what all of that entails, but I think it goes along the same lines as what you were saying with regard to the title insurance and why that's very important to have, and how it prevents people from losing their homes in the future if there was a break in that chain of ownership along the way. So with title insurance, can you explain, so what happens if, let's say, worst case scenario, somebody comes along and says, oh, by the way, I never signed over the deed to that property and you have my house, I want it back. They go to court, they win. What happens to the buyer who ends up being the victim in this situation?
All right, two things. Now that you refresh my memory on Title Lock, I want to make it clear that title insurance insures the past. Okay, so it doesn't insure the future. So as for Title Lock,
gotcha.
For the present, I'm not sure about their product and its validity. But if it was something that's happened in the past, a fraudulent deed in the past. And actually, I've had a situation where this has happened because the owner owned their house outright and they lived in another country. So there was a fraudulent deed that was done in Miami, recorded in Polk County, and then turned around and they tried to sell it before the mail made it to the UK, to the other country, and that person was notified that they no longer owned their home. So it was something that was, the FBI got involved in everything, but we were able to stop it. However, to answer your question, if, let's say that person fraudulently signed a deed, then sold it, and then that person sold it to our buyer, who now has title insurance. Our buyer is covered by our underwriting attorneys. They would represent them in court. And then if for some reason that prior owner is awarded the property back, our title insurance, they would get the full sales price of their coverage listed on the title insurance policy. So whatever they purchased the house for. Now, as for the other things, if they've made improvements to the house or things of that nature, that really gets into law and is probably further than we want to go today. But they would get the sales price of their house back.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they would have to move and go through that whole schematic again, but at least they would have insurance to get their property back. So, well, I appreciate your detail with regard to that. That helps tremendously. So let's talk a little bit about kind of what has happened over the past year with COVID and everything like that. So closings typically, in most cases, take place at a specified area or physical location. But with COVID, some title companies and closing agents are moving more towards kind of an electronic closing or virtual closing. What are you guys doing, and what works well, or what options do home buyers have if they are concerned with COVID?
Right. So with home buyers, if they're purchasing cash, we're able to do everything through DocuSign. So they never have to leave their home unless their bank requires them to send a wire in person. If they're able to send the wire transfer through online banking in their home, then they literally can purchase a house without ever leaving their home, just using that alone. Now, if they're using a lender, it is based on the lender. There are some lenders that do hybrid closings, which means they sign the majority of their paperwork in front of a computer screen, such as DocuSign or electronic signature. And then the other documents, they do require to be notarized still, their mortgage. They have not gotten past that legislature in regards to being able to foreclose based on a remote online notary, which I'll get in a second. So for buyers who have a lender that require their mortgage to be notarized, which is most of them, we offer several options. We can do drive-through where they stay in their car. We sanitize our rooms, we have shields up, or we can send a notary to their home, or they're able to use someone that they know as a notary and sign in their home and mail it back to us and not ever step foot in the office. As for sellers, I was one of the first remote online notaries in the state of Florida. We are able to do the complete notarization of all documents online for the sellers. That means that it is a video chat like you and I are doing right now, and then in front of them they see a screen and they're able to click and sign the document. I'm actually able to put an electronic seal on the document, and they never have to step foot in the office. We wire their funds as well, or overnight a check to them. So those are kind of the things that are helping with not having the personal interaction with COVID. Mm-hmm. And it's a technology thing. It's where the future's going,
right?
Regarding paperless and just having an easier transaction. Most people want to take their vacation to move into their house, not to close on their house these days.
Right. Exactly. So, okay, that's great. Well, in just the few minutes we have left, what other services do you guys provide, or is there anything else you would like to offer that might help make the closing process easier for those who are purchasing homes?
I love first time home buyers, and we specialize in what we consider hand holding. We're there to
Mhm.
answer every question and kind of guide you step by step. Our company has been in business for 20 years. I've also been licensed for 20 years. So I've seen a lot of things change, and in this business,
Mhm.
change every day. If you come in thinking you know it all, it's already changed. So
Yeah.
it's impossible for buyers and sellers to know this process. So even though we speak English, a lot of our terminology is not used in everyday language. So we do educate our clients. We do try to make them feel comfortable. A lot of our clients we never even see face to face. And we're dealing with large sums of money. So it's our job that we make them feel comfortable. We give them the tools to understand that we're licensed and bonded in the state of Florida, and that we are a valid company and someone that they can trust to give us their personal information. As for why you should use our title company, again, we have years and years of experience. We do like to make our closings fun. If you're comfortable with coming in, we do champagne toast and we have videos playing. We have slideshows of your home that you get to take with you. We'll put on a USB with your documents. We just really strive to make this big purchase in your life a special, memorable thing, because as you and I know, Leo, sometimes there's bumps in the road and sometimes it's very stressful. And so we want the memory of the last part of the process to be a good memory.
Absolutely. And that's very important because you really kind of are the closing door, if you will, to the entire process that they go through, which we know is sometimes a harrowing experience in and of itself. Sometimes it can be very overwhelming, very stressful. There's so many moving parts and pieces to purchasing a home or even selling a home that sometimes it's easy to get consumed by those overwhelming thoughts and fears and doubts and misunderstandings. And because there's such a legal process involved, a lot of times the consumer feels overwhelmed even by that process, the contracts and the closing. And, when there's a stack of papers that, it seems like you're using a ream of paper to sign your life away at closing, it tends to be a little overwhelming. So the good thing I like about what you guys do, and it goes along with what I do as a realtor, is my job is to educate my clients along the way, because most people have no idea, especially first-time home buyers, what the process of purchasing a home is like. Or there are people who haven't bought a home in 30 years and now they're rebuying their next home many years later, and things have changed. So it's great to have somebody as a partner like you guys working with us as realtors, and we both are on the same page as far as helping our single client go through the process from A to Z, if you will, but make it as smooth as possible. And I always tell my clients, I say, I can't make it stress-free, but I can make it stress-less.
Right. Because unfortunately, we can't control every aspect, but we can help foresee some of the hiccups that could come up, and we can help guide them through those situations or prepare them for what's next. Expect this, expect that. This is what comes after this. And I think knowing what to expect and keeping that line of communication as to where they're at in the process, it takes a big stress off of them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And it just makes for an overall experience that is worth remembering when it's over and done with. So yes. I appreciate you guys doing that. And again, I'm very excited that, we have a great partner with you guys. And I've worked with a number of title companies, but I can tell you that the title station has always been very professional, very easy to work with, and they communicate very well. So if anyone is out there that wants to consider purchasing a home or selling a home, I can assure you that our partnership with the Title Station is a great partnership, and certainly a company that you want to consider. So if any of you would like to get in contact with Christy or the Title Station, please contact us here at HomeSmart, and the phone number will be on the screen, and the email address and website as well. And you can also go to my website at theleopacheco.com and go to preferred providers, and Christy's link is right there, so you can contact her directly. So without further ado, Christy, thank you so much for joining me today and answering these questions, and hopefully helping our consumers understand what the process is and how to make their life a little bit easier in the home buying process. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Leo. It was a pleasure. And as always, we look forward to working with you for the trust and the honesty that you have shown. We don't just work with any realtor. We choose our realtors based on their integrity and the way they treat their clients. And so it is a great honor to be here speaking with you today. And I look forward to our future transactions together.
Well, thank you. And I look forward as well. So, all right. Well, thank you for joining me today, and we'll see you next time right here on Get Real with Leo Pacheco. Take care.